Hi Reader Pops, welcome back to a book video. I'm so excited to film this video because I always get text messages from friends being like, hey, I haven't read a book since middle school, but I really just want to get one real quick before I go on this trip. What should I read? And these are all the books that I usually recommend. So they're mostly just easy to read and fast-paced books that will just keep you entertained and get you back into the habit of reading, because I know it's difficult at first to focus on a book for more than like 5 minutes at a time, which is totally normal. You can like read a chapter and then check your phone and read a chapter, which I know sounds sad, but it's honestly just what you have to do to like retrain your brain. And then once you actually like a book, you'll just start reading for like an hour and forget that you even are reading a book, and it's like the best feeling ever. So here are those books. I got a new bed frame, which is why I'm able to sit on it now, and a new lens. So if you haven't been keeping up with the moving vlogs, I recommend those because that's where this whole setup is coming from. But let's get started. Okay, my first recommendation, ew, these are like dusty, is The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I love this because it's just a really fun, fast-paced mystery book, but there's a little bit of romance in there as well. This is young adult technically. The chapters are super short. They're all like 1.5 pages long. And it's just so satisfying. It makes you feel like you've accomplished something like every 5 minutes. It's really great. And if you've ever seen the movie Knives Out, this is what that book gets compared to a lot. And that's one of my favorite movies. So this is one of my absolute favorite books. And then the second book is out, The Hawthorne Legacy. And then this year, the third book will be coming out. So if you end up finishing this one and really liking it, then you can just dive into the next book and you might become a reader all of a sudden and be like, whoa, I was not expecting that. My nose is so stuffed up. You can tell in my talking that I'm not getting any air through my nose. This series is literally so popular, but I'm reading it right now. And that is To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. If you've seen the Netflix movies with, what's his name? Something Mayo. Oh my gosh, what is his name? I can't remember. Even if you've watched those movies, reading the books is just so fun. If you want a very like high school experience type of easy book to enjoy, these are that. If you don't know the premise of this book, she writes a bunch of letters to boys that she used to love and they accidentally get sent out somehow. And then you just kind of watch her life through high school, interacting with boys, but also just like deciding which college to go to and friendship dynamics and just fun stuff like that. I'm on the third book currently, and then I'm reading the movie after. And it's just a very rewarding experience to be able to watch the movie after reading the book. So these are just cutesy and fun. If you want a romance specific book, big summer vibes, this is one of my new 5-star reads. I think this is the first time I'm showing this book on this channel because I had just read it this month, but it is The Summer of Broken Rules by K.L. Walther. First of all, this is probably my favorite cover of all time. I absolutely love it. But basically, this girl goes to this little, what's the island they go to? Martha's Vineyard. They always go to Martha's Vineyard, which is like a beach town kind of thing. And this year, their whole family is there for a wedding, and they play this game of assassin, which is basically tag with water guns. And then when you tag somebody out, you get who they were supposed to tag out, and then it just goes like that until there's finally a winner. So they're playing that in this beachy vineyard town, and there is just a romance that sparks over the summer. The summer vibes in this book, I just wanted to eat this book. It was, I just love when a book gives summer vibes. And if you're going to the beach, definitely highly recommend this, but it also gives me like lake vibes. Beach, lake, or just in your bedroom, vibes are very extremely high. 5-star book from me. I love it so much. But if romance is not so much your thing, Finley Donovan is killing it. It is a murder mystery comedy. It's so interesting. I also love the cover of this one. This is by El Cosimano. But yeah, there's plot twists, there's suspense, and it's just like a crazy, funny book. It's just like an outrageous plot. So Finley Donovan is a single mom and she's a novelist, and she goes to get lunch with her literary agent, and she's talking about this new suspense novel that she wants to write, and somebody overhears it and thinks that she's like an assassin basically, and tries to pay her to kill their husband, and she really needs money, so she actually considers going through with it. So basically that happens, and then a lot of other stuff happens, and it's super fast paced. It's just like, obviously you have to suspend any disbelief because that's like the fun of this book, is that this would never happen in real life, but it's funny. The side characters are super well developed and you just fall in love with them as well. So I highly recommend this book. This was the last book that I read last year, so I haven't gotten to put it in many videos, but this is just one of those books that I could recommend to anyone who wants like a fast-paced mystery, murder mystery, comedy type book. I just said those words so many times. This is basically the same theme of like comedy, but also it's not a murder mystery, like you know what happens, but basically Dial A for Aunties by Jessie Q Sutanto. She accidentally kills this person on the first date. It's like a scenario that would also probably very much not happen, hopefully. But then her 3 aunties have to help her hide the body while they're also at a wedding, and her ex-boyfriend, who she's still in love with, is at this wedding. So fast-paced, funny, and also a little bit of romance. And I loved the family dynamics in this. especially because they're Asian. I have an Asian family, so I had a bit of a connection there. But even if you don't, I think you're gonna love this book as well. And it's like 296 pages. I feel like a book with under 300 pages is a fun, non-overwhelming thing to start reading with again. Those are like the only two not young adult books in this video, by the way. So this is my new favorite book, Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. If you want a typical YA high school romance book, this is my favorite one ever. And also just like favorite romance book ever. I wouldn't say it's like fast paced at first, but it's just so cute. And I feel like the characters are really well developed and it didn't feel cheesy to me at all. So I'm just putting this book in here because it's like my favorite book. So I might as well just put it in this video and every book recommendation video ever. If you haven't read it yet, just go read it. But it's also like sold out everywhere for good reason. Okay, if you're going to the beach, I highly recommend you honestly just like buy this trilogy and bring it with you. This summer I turned pretty series. It's a young adult series and it's got family dynamics, it's got romance, it's got coming of age. The text is like super spaced out and small and the books are like under 300 pages. They're super quick, easy to read, but I absolutely love them. And the summer vibes that this first one brings especially is so great because they show up to the beach house every summer and she hangs out with these two brothers who she's been friends with since childhood, which is a trope that I love so much. Read this one on the plane, read this one on the beach, and read this on the plane or the drive home, and you will have read a trilogy. Trigger warning for grief though, especially in the second book, but yeah, the second book's kind of sad. But past that, suspenseful romance in this one. And I just love this series. So if you want like a cute little summery read, definitely these. Next, we have a YA dystopian series, the Selection series. I feel like so many people have read these, but if you're like one of the few who hasn't, or if you read it in middle school like I had, revisiting them is super fun. So if you don't know, it's basically like reading The Bachelor, except he's a prince and it's like a dystopian world where people are in castes from 1 being the richest and 8 being the poorest. But there's also a little bit of mystery towards the end of the series, okay? A little bit of drama. It's super just fun and mythical, and these books just feel like a Taylor Swift song. Like that's the best way I can describe it, with the castle and like the garden where she talks to the prince a lot, where they fall in love. It just literally feels exactly like how I hear Taylor Swift music, and I love Taylor Swift music, so that's just a great combination. And they keep on theme with low pressure, fast paced, easy to read. Should I say it one more time? Yeah. Ooh, also I didn't bring this one up with me, but Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid would be really fun because that whole book is written in dialogue, kind of like an interview format, and it's literally only dialogue. So it'll be like Haley, blah, 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 Ryan, blah, 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 Spock, blah, blah, blah. Like it's literally just like the characters' names and then what they say. There's nothing else. There's no like descriptions of settings or things like that that doesn't come from dialogue. And sometimes that's the biggest barrier point with books, is like them just talking and describing lyrically a setting, and I just kind of get bored or like zone out, which is kind of bad. But with that book being completely dialogue, you won't have that risk at all. So that's a really good one. And then lastly, just because I like this book, Alex Approximately. It's a young adult romance. It's super summery, as you can see from the book cover. She really likes movies, so if you are like a big movie fan, you would really like this book. Same with Better Than the Movies. There's like tons of rom-com, what's it called when you like rom-com references in that book. But this one, they're like pen pals in different states and they don't know each other's real identities, but there's talk of her like moving closer to where he lives and them meeting up for the first time. And it turns out she actually moves there and they have met each other in real life already and they're like falling in love, but they don't know that about each other. And then they have to, over time, realize that they were the anonymous pen pals. So that aspect is like a really cool thing added on to the romance, which I found really fun. Here are all of the book recommendations. If you didn't find one from this video, I don't know what to tell you, because I love all of these books so much and they are all easy to read and fast paced. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I hope it was helpful. Let me know if you choose one of these to read, or if you have been a reader and you read any of these, and what I should read next as well. Go watch my vlogs, go watch my main channel, go follow me on Instagram, go follow me on TikTok. I'm really demanding, aren't I? Okay, I'll see you guys somewhere else on the internet. Bye.